Hey guys, that's from Loaded, and today we're going to be doing a quick review of the new ultra-wide monitor from Dell, which is the Dell P3421W, this beast right here. But before we proceed, click the subscribe button and roll intro. So the features I was looking for mostly was that it should be a 34-inch ultra-wide at least. It should be 1440p, and since I do photography and videography on the side, I was looking for an IPS panel. And since I have both the Dell XPS 13 and the MacBook, I was looking at having USB-C docking as a bonus, and also having a built-in KVM switch, because that having both USB-C docking and KVM switches would help me use both the Dell and the MacBook seamlessly, switch between them. And it also helps in keeping the wires, because I am obsessed with cable management. So there were multiple monitors that qualified for the specs I was looking for, but when I set the budget I was willing to spend, I was aiming for at least 1,000 to 1,200 New Zealand dollars. There were four monitors that passed most, if not all, of the features I was looking for. So the first monitor that I saw was the LG 34WNBC. Oh, let me get this right. The LG 34WN ATC-B, 34 inches. It had most of the features except that it did not have a KVM, and the price was on the higher end. It was 1,200 NZD. The second monitor that passed was the Titan Army 34A2QR. If you have not heard of that brand, I think it's mainly marketed in New Zealand. It was low on the list, but it did qualify because it was 898 NZD, so the price was a plus, the brand not so much. So the third monitor that passed is the Philips 346B1C. It's 898. It had KVM built in. It had USB-C docking. The main problem is it's a VA panel, so it passed all the specs that I was looking for, except that it was a VA panel, though the price was 898 NZD, which is actually quite nice. Then we hit gold. The Dell 3421W was released in New Zealand market. It had everything that I needed. It had IPS, it was 34 inches, it was 1440p, and it has USB-C docking, and it had a built-in KVM switch. And the bonus, it was only 918 NZD when I bought it. So it was under the 1K that I was supposed to spend. It had all the specs that I needed, so I bought this right here. So would that have been a bang for your buck purchase? So let's do a rundown of the specs. It's 34-inch ultra-wide. It's 21:9 aspect ratio. It has IPS panel. It's 3440 by 1440p at 60 Hz. Again, it's not a gaming monitor, but you can still game at 60 Hz if you're not too particular about it. It's curved. It's a subtle curve. It has 8 millisecond response rate. It has 1000 to 1 contrast ratio. It has no HDR support, but it renders 1.07 billion colors. It has height swivel tilt adjustments, and it has a lot of ports. It has HDMI, it has display port, it has a USB-C upstream, the USB-C docking. I was looking for this display port with power delivery, and it has USB-C 3.2 Gen 1 upstream. It has two USB 3.2 Gen 1 downstream and two USB 2.0 downstream, and it has 99% sRGB color gamut, and it has flicker free technology and Dell Easier Range, Dell Comfort View, and it's bezel-less, 3-sided bezel-less, because of this one is it's not a 4-sided bezel-less. So I've been using this monitor for a month now, and I think it's about time to nitpick and do the pros and cons of what I like and what I do not like about the monitor. I think we're going to start with the issues. with all the ports that came with the monitor, it does not have a headphone jack. Yes. So instead of running the headphone jack or headphone connection into the monitor, I now have it connected on the laptop. So it's a bit of an issue when it comes to cable management. As I said, I'm obsessed with cable management, so I want to keep as much cables running from this one and make sure I hide it from behind. But for now, we have to keep it this way. But I did buy a USB to 3.5 adapter. So once that arrives, this connection for the speaker goes to the back of the monitor. The second is that, as I mentioned before, there's two USB 2.0 downstream and two USB 3.0 downstream. This could be a pro, it could also be a con. The main problem now is that both 3.0 downstream ports are in the front here on this part, while the 2.0 are in the back. This becomes a pro if we want to keep on plugging things into the back as much as possible. I don't want things dangling from the front. I want to hide all the wires. With the current setup, now it may look like it's clean now with external drive connected at the back, but it causes me to have abysmal read and write speed. In reality, if I'm not recording this video, the connection would look like this. So I have my USB dock dangling from the front of the monitor into my connected into my external drive. I bought a curve adapter so that I'd have this one of the 3.0 in the front going to the back so I can hide my dock. Could Dell not have thought out of like separating the USB 3.0 and 2.0 downstream? Also, why do manufacturers still use the USB 2.0 technology if 3.0 is way better? Like, the read and write speed is way better. Like, would there be a big price difference if all monitors or all gadgets will be shipped with 3.0 ports instead of 2.0? Anybody know the answer? You can just drop it in the comment explaining what it is. The main problem as well with the Dell 3421W, especially for the Macs, is that Dell never claims full compatibility of their monitors to Macs. I think it started with the U3419W. There were reports of it, like the chime issue and like the USB-C docking being very wonky. And while I have not had the chime issue on the 3421W, the P3421W, I've had problems with the USB-C docking being wonky on my Mac. I did not experience it on my Dell, which runs on Windows. But for this one, each time it sleeps, or actually sometimes when the monitor goes to sleep, the moment you wake it up, you would need to reconnect the USB-C wire. While display works, all the other accessories like this USB interface that I have and this external drive that I have, it will not be detected. Sometimes when I boot it up, actually most of the times when I boot up the Mac, this will not be detected, so I will need to remove and reconnect it. Lastly, because they do not claim full compatibility for the P34W21 with Mac, so there is no software available for the Macs. So you won't have easy arrange, and you would have to manually arrange your windows when you're using a Mac. It does work on Windows, so if you're on a Mac, you may have to reconsider buying the Dell 3421W, especially if you're very particular on very small stuff like the USB-C docking and the easy arrange software not working for the Dell, and the USB-C docking being a bit wonky. I think that's most of the cons or the issues that I've seen so far or experienced so far with the Dell 3421W. I think it's time to move on to the pros or the advantages of the what I noticed of the Dell 3421W so far. So again, we get USB-C docking, and USB-C docking, you get 65 watts of delivery from the USB-C port, and you only use one wire from your computer, from your Mac or from your laptop or from your computer to the monitor. So it gets you audio, video, and power charging. So technically you save a lot of space, roughly. Like you don't get to see a lot of wires. Well, I need to improve on my cable management for now, but it does save you a lot of space instead of having a lot of wires dangling from your laptop. So another advantage of the Dell P3421 again is that it has KVM. It has picture-by-picture and picture-in-picture features, so you can multitask efficiently, especially if you have two computers, so you can use it. So you can connect two PCs to the monitor and display the content at the same time with picture-by-picture and picture-in-picture features. So with KVM, you can use one set of keyboard and mouse for two devices that you're controlling. One thing I also like about the Dell this ultrawide monitor is that it's curved, but it's very subtle. So it's not as curved as the Samsung G9, and it's not as flat as most older ultrawides. So it's curved, but very subtle. So another thing is that since it's an IPS panel, and if you can see it now, you're in this weird angle of the monitor playing a video. It's got great viewing angles. So if you see on this video that I recorded, you see how the viewing angles, each viewing angle would look. So you can have people looking at your monitor from a different angle, and they'd get a great view of what is on your monitor. Another thing that I like is the subtle cable management feature at the back. It's not much, but it does help you get your cable sorted. Another thing is that it has some height and swivel adjustments. So I have a stand-up table, so it does help change your posture as well if you want it tilting up, or you want to free up some vertical space beneath the monitor. You can just adjust it to go up. If not, if you want to reduce or change the height, you want the level of your monitor to be eye level, or any level that you want to see it, you can just adjust the height. Another thing is that you actually get real estate with 1440p. The problem with the old ultrawide that I had is that it was 34-inch, but it only had 1080p. So it's a pseudo extra space, if you ask me. So if you ever go for a 34 ultrawide, I recommend getting a 1440, not 1080. And again, it's an IPS panel, so you get great color accuracy and you get really sharp pictures, and it's a joy to edit photos and videos with. I've run through this. I have used this monitor for a month, and I have edited videos and photos, and the real estate with 1440p and the IPS going well with it. It just improves your workflow by a lot. So what's the final verdict on it? What's the overall verdict? So in my opinion, having all the features, 1440p, IPS, built-in KVM switch, USB-C docking, and 34-inch for only 918 NZD, I think around near 700 USD, or no, not really, around 600 USD, if my math is right. 600 to 700 range USD. It's actually a bang for every buck you spend. Like if you come to think of it, the Philips monitor, the Philips 34 monitor that I mentioned a while ago, was roughly the same price, but it was a VA panel instead of IPS. So it was around, let me check the price again. It was 898, if I'm correct. Yeah, 898, and the Dell P3421W is 918. So with $20 difference, and you get an IPS panel, I'd spend $20 more for an IPS panel over a VA panel. But again, as I mentioned before, if you are on a Mac and very particular about like small issues like the USB-C docking, having to reconnect the USB-C wire every now and then, you may have to look somewhere else. But if you're like me, it's not too particular about it. It's the monitor for you. It's bang for every buck. So, do you like it? And if you do, and you're planning to buy it, let me know what you think about the monitor. If you bought it, let me know what subtle pros and cons, or any major pros and cons that you have noticed with the monitor. So, that's about it. And don't forget to click like, subscribe, and see you guys in the next video. Peace.